currently waiting for the actual stream to boot up properly. Right, I'll just click begin the game in case it's... Ah, there we go. Right, so you've probably not heard me say hello, but let me pause the thing and mute my own phone. There we go. And I'll set that back to live. Right, anyway, hopefully now this is up and running. So, as I'm not going to get time to do a video today and I can't stream sort of this evening, I thought I'd do a stream now. And just sort of, you know, play a bit of Stanley Parable 2 while chatting with people and messing about. So anyway, let's begin the game with our bucket, because I'm sure we still got the bucket. And we need to find that thing. I might look up a guide in a minute, actually. Cheat.
This is the story.
So, it was blue and red rooms together or something, wasn't it? Well, we'll go to the thing and then we'll see...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps, as Stanley lifted his bucket, he felt a connection to all buckets everywhere. This adventure, he decided, was for all of them. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Right, so somewhere both red and blue. Let's look this up, because that's the only one I can't find. Okay, you can't take the bucket into the room, that's why. So, okay, we'll do whatever ending for this one, and I'll do this one without the bucket. Right, Mike? Right, Dan? Yeah, see if you can't stay down. I'm just streaming at the moment because I'm out this evening, so I can't stream later. So apparently the reason I didn't find this one before wasn't my own fault. It was because I couldn't take the bucket with me. So let's just get a random ending now.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours.
You too, Dan.
He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. Now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Probably quite John Carpenter-ish, actually, isn't it?
Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
Did you catch any of the stream last night, Mike?
Painful. Stanley
Or were you not
doubled
on
over
when
in
I was on?
agony
But,
and
it
bled.
doesn't really matter. Just it was quite we had some quite funny sort of weird things in this game last night.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
No, it's just about to restart. Oh, yeah. Right, so as I cheated and looked up a guide, I'll get
All
that
of his
last
co-workers
thing
were
now.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting
So
room.
I'm not gonna pick
Perhaps
up
he
the
had
bucket.
simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
So we're going to go straight through here.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
So we're going to jump on the catwalk.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this,
So
but
we
I
can get
really
now
do
through the
want to
exit
help
from
you,
the bucket.
to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm
There we
on
go.
your side. And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something
At the
just
moment,
for the
also,
sake
I'm
of
just getting
doing it.
all the
Where
figurines.
so many people expect to be rewarded
lost
for the
one
most
now.
trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Yeah, that's why I think I quite like this mic compared to a lot of the other sort of interactive story things, although I do like some of the other interactive story ones, but I think this, because this one is so, yeah, like you're saying, so bloody weird, you know, also very dark humour in it. Although I've not found a sexual predator button in this one yet, I've run into a similar thing about Stanley hiring hookers and taking drugs or something.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Let's do the red door this time, see what happens.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now.
Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Right, let's carry on.
No, wait. Where are you going? Right. Where were we?
The thing is, this is something I'd probably watch or listen to if I wanted to get to sleep, not actually play a game.
Oh no! Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Are you going to jump to our death?
Whee! No! Oh, thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
Sure, why not? Let's look at the light show.
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
I think I sent you a message, didn't I, Mike? But I bought my M1 Garand M14 like thing from Worldwide Arms before they closed. Whoops, probably can't see that on stream, but oh well. But they don't even exist anymore, so whatever. Because I thought if I don't get it for the price they had it reduced to on the last day, it will probably just be sold to another site when they'll go up in price, and I'll think, fucking hell, I should have bought it for the reduced price. Right, hype. So yeah, the only annoying thing where that's been deactivated, it's a bit like the M1 carbines, where the actual rolling sort of bolt, or whatever you call it, what's the name, actual proper name for it? Rotating bolt? Yeah, rotating bolt. The rotating bolt doesn't actually, the rotating bolt doesn't do its rotating bolt thing. That's the only annoying thing. But yeah, it still astounds me that the US went with the M14, where it's like Beretta made a better battle rifle than the M14. You know, the FAL was better, the G3 was better. It just set me.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
Anyway, you're right, hype. I'm gonna try
No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please,
again,
I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
I was gonna say, when sort of in the next couple of days when I get a chance to fly the drone again, I'm gonna try and reinstall all the apps for the drone and see if I can get it working again. If not, I'll get a new phone at some point soon anyway, and then we can hopefully get a video done on that drone. Because it sort of half works the app, but doesn't, and that doesn't give me much confidence in flying it with the app, when like half the functions of the app don't work on my phone. So okay, so the bolt on, how the bolt works on like the carbine and the Garand, basically the bolt moving is separate from the actual action. It's kind of hard to explain. So when it's all not deactivated and working, as you pull the bolt back, the actual you know, like the actual charging handle back, the bolt would rotate at the same rate you're pulling the handle back and sort of pull back. So on these, basically, the actual like rotating bolt bit where the magazine well is welded shut, but the actual charging handle is still working on its own spring. It's kind of weird, but it's how the gas system works on really primitive, sort of early, you know, repeater rifles. But yeah, the trigger moves on this one, if I remember right. You can move the safety on it, the bipod opens and closes. You can rack the charging handle. But
do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about.
I'll stand here for a minute while he's
I know you'll see. You'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
Yeah, I've flown it a few times under remote control, and it's really, like, nicely controlled under remote control, so thank you again, you know, for it. But it's just the annoying thing that, obviously, to use it as a proper drone, not just an RC helicopter, you need it to work with all, like, the apps. But for whatever reason, this current Motorola G, or I've got, like, one of the sort of, they're, like, most popular models, it doesn't seem to like the app. Oh, is that in China? Because didn't they have like a really bad outbreak in Hong Kong now, or something? I was hearing on the news, I think, the other day, where they've had like a really high number of deaths in quite a short period, because obviously where they locked down before, and then it finally got there. Alright, let's throw ourselves down the stairs again.
No, perhaps not.
I think you're walking slightly slower each time. I'm assuming that's getting slightly higher each time.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
Let's come back here just to see if he said.
I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
Right, let's throw ourselves down the stairs again. Oh, that sounds horrible. Well, I suppose at least he's alive, if he's under probation rather than, you know, being dead. I imagine if you're locked down for ages in like an apartment block, it'll really start fucking with your head, won't it?
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Well, I was saying that somebody got pushed out a window to his death while MK Ultra said, "Oh no, he took too much acid and did it." So that was an actual thing. Right, shall we do the red door this time?
Stanley,
Oh,
I'm
different.
sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figlets. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
So, you'll like this, Mike. So, they've got The Last of Us there, but they've just a thing over it saying the Stanley Parable. I'll keep the camera on this till you actually see it. Oh, sorry, I get you. So yeah, the guy who didn't jump out the window is alive. And then they would just sort of like, oh, let's chuck some shit at you because pigs. Yeah, sounds about right. I've heard a lot of weird stuff like that, Ra. Like, is that like basically where you're sort of in a near-death experience and you get resuscitated or whatever? Because I've heard similar things, you know, like when I've watched videos on other people who have been brought back to life after being dead, like technically dead for a while, and they're sort of said similar things.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley. And here was a second Stanlerine. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
I'm pretty sure it was the bathroom because it was obvious.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised.
After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything. Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room.
No, we didn't.
Well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened. This was the 5th mini-stand, and this one was really something special. It was behind the boss's office. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy. Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
I didn't. That was asked yesterday. There's definitely still PNV57Es around. I mean, how easy they are to find and are they worth the money, I don't know at the moment. But I'd assume you can still find PNV57Es sort of on eBay and wherever else.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Yeah, we went on the red door last time, Mike. That wasn't the bit I was on about. It was just the, sort of, we're on a completely different bit now where he's going on about figurines. Yeah, Hype, it's, like I said, the weird thing with, like, the whole Russian thing is, like, I guess it's down to corruption. But, so, Russia technically makes really good night vision, but I've been noticing that lots of the Russians don't have any night vision whatsoever. Like, not even PNV57A sort of stuff. I mean, they're sending T-62s to the front now because they're getting so desperate, so, you know, you'd think they'd still have all that stuff in storage, but oh wait, they sold it. So, you know, it's this weird thing where technically if you bought anything Russian due to corruption, you're stopping Russia invading a country, which is a really weird sort of concept. But it's kind of a, you know, nice idea to know, due to military corruption, you know, buying stuff on eBay or whatever has lowered the capability of Russia to wage war on its neighbours. Should we do the blue door this time?
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone. No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Okay then.
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this.
I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going, I want more. And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched? Yes, I love that video.
Yeah, I actually feel really bad for regular Russian soldiers that, you know, are getting such shit equipment. Like, all the pictures I've seen now of, like, soldiers with Nagants, not even fucking AKs. But at the same time, it's kind of like, imagine if Nazi Germany could have been bought out in this way, where they'd sold all their soldiers' equipment to surplus collectors.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Yeah, it's like a Windows Movie Maker video, isn't it, Mike?
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one. This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it, the very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this? Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more memories.
Yeah, I guess half the problem is if you make sort of stuff based on like the old communist top-down system, but then the other stuff is based on like a NATO, you know, like season initiative system, then you've got to have a lot of problems.
Yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions, he would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once.
and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Right, looks like we've restarted again. Yeah, it's quite interesting how big it, like I said, horrible if you're actually a soldier in that system and you've got like no support whatsoever. Right, bye Ron. Probably won't be on too much longer.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Right, shall we not get the bucket this time, jump down the thing, and then do the right-hand door?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. What but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
There's a blue.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
I don't know if there's robots in it. It's kind of like a weird choose your own adventure type thing. I'm trying to think of like the way to sum this up. It's a very weird game. It's kind of like there's a narrative you're meant to take and then you can keep breaking the narrative every time. It's like very weird British humour. So I assume it's not the one with robots. Yeah, I'm still grinding through Elden Ring. I've not completed it yet. Like, sort of every week or so I level up a few more times, you know, get a bit closer to the end, but I'm still playing it. Right, so let's see the blue door show.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You give me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something.
Oh, this is the bit
Where
where
do
he
these
gets burned
flashes of
baby.
inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
I actually like Dark Souls 2. I mean, I don't know which is better, Dark Souls 2 or like Scholar of the First Sin, whatever it's called. But I had all the DLC bundled in, some changes. But I like Dark Souls 2. Because obviously I played Demon Souls as well as Dark Souls, so I don't think Dark Souls was the first ever thing. Oh, Mussolini is online or offline. I didn't even hear what he said. Which door should we go for? Should we do a dev one again?
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some
baby in the
playtesting.
fire bit?
You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this
There you
game,
go,
the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
That's done, baby.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over.
But here's the thing, Mike.
Thank
if
you
do
for
it
playing.
for 4 hours,
Your
is
input
there
was
a different
extremely
outcome?
valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Firewatch, are we?
Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man, spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted, erotic purpose.
That'd be actually more fun than real
Yes,
Firewatch.
that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Yeah, Firewatch was a game that really disappointed me because it starts off with some sort of interesting X-Files plot and then, spoiler, it's like, oh no, it's just some guy whose kid died. It's like, really? Hey Mike, this is my creep tower. I can do my diarrhea up here, and then I can look at the ladies in Walmart and say they should be covered up. Because ladies shouldn't have an education, because I'm SSW. It's probably not a very good impression, but there you go. Oh yeah, lots of cameras are really nice. Yeah, I hope like that. That was good. Alright, let's progress the story, shall we?
Oh no. No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing. Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun. Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought, and I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball. Yes! Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls!
Oh no.
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? You haven't... Hold on. What are you doing? Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come.
Was this the bit we got on the Dreams version? Where there was like various games, although they were different games. That's very Half-Life 2 looking. Because again, I know originally the Stanley Parable, I think this version's probably made in Unity, did it say? But the Stanley Parable originally was obviously all Half-Life 2 assets, very much like this.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Alright, Mike, I'll probably be off quite soon anyway. Can we just sit in the office and let nothing happen? Alright, I'll just leave this a moment and see if anything happens just staring at the clock while doing nothing. Yes, Byron, I've got a video I want to do on a C2A1 gas mask filter. It's just been one of those annoying ones that whenever I've come to sort of film it, I felt ill or whatever. So hopefully I'll get that done this week. Can't see any reason why I can't get it done in a week. So it's a filter rather than, you know, a mask, but still. Carry on just staring at the clock. Right, should we keep staring at the clock or should we do something else? Right, Nick, I'm afraid I'll be off in quite a couple of minutes. Like, a load of minutes, or probably a few minutes. Because I've been on for, I think, about an hour. As a flight at the stairs. No, it sounds like bloody hiccups coming back. Did you have a nice VR headset then? Because again, I've got the Rift, but I've never actually... Well, I don't have the motion controls for the Rift, and obviously the Rift is quite old at this point, because what's it, the Oculus Quest or something now? But I thought there was a mod somebody was making, apparently, to make Alex sort of just play with a regular controller. Which I sort of just wanted to play it through using that. Because the VR stuff, I definitely prefer it more as like, you know, if you're just doing a cockpit simulator or whatever else, rather than a proper running around, like gun shooter sort of thing. Right, I don't know if anything's going to happen if we just stand here. Is the minute hand moving? Let's have a look. No, the hands don't move by the look of it, so it's just the second hand that actually keeps moving. Right, shall we do the bird ending but without the bucket? If I can even remember how to get to that. So do I have to go to the boss's office and then, yeah, I think it's the boss's office, isn't it?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, if I know where if I can find my escape hood, I have no idea where I've stored it.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Oh no, the slightly hovering mind.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Yeah, Black Mesa's good. It's just a remake of Half-Life 1, isn't it? But
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Actually, let's jump into the pit. If I can do this. There we go.
Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the Mind Control Facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game, with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret.
that's just for you. That's how special you are. We call this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Good job, you did it. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams. But railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it. 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 Good job, you did it.
Right, I'll do one more playthrough of it and then I'll end the stream. But hello everybody that's just joined.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he
Right,
had
shall
simply
we take
missed
the
a
bucket
memo.
or leave the bucket? I'll wait for a few of you to reply. Maybe Oddworld Zave's Exodus on PlayStation 1. So 1 take, 1 leave. 2 takes. Roger just says, the almighty bucket, as in Zardos. I actually watched a review of Rayman yesterday. The Josh Strife Plays, is it? Right, fine, we'll take the bucket.
What new mysteries lay in store for our bucket-loving heroes today? Let's find out. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I'm tempted just to end the stream to do the weird, like, Lovecraftian nightmare bucket ending. Yeah, Medieval's good, Spyro's good.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Was Soviet strike an expansion to the original armour? Cold War Crisis.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
This
said
is
it
the
is
sad
Soviet
story
strike
of a man named
the
Stanley
armorers function.
and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him. The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head. Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Well, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else. You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is this awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Oh, the pictures are even changing into buckets.
Sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Can we ignore the bucket? Or does that just not do anything? No, it looks like we have to press K.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another. Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Sometimes for work, but otherwise not that much. Like, I'll use them if I'm dealing with dusty stuff, but now and again I use them for work for dealing with chemicals. Bloody hiccups.
I'm having feelings for the bucket. Oh, no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps, if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
Yeah, same ending from the other day. Right, so end of the stream. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully my hiccups will end in a minute because they just started again. Right. See you soon. If this worked.